Very warm welcome to everyone. Very happy World Mental Health Day 2020 for which we are actually proposing mental health for all. तो आप सभी लोग डेफिनेटली कोविड ने हमें बहुत कुछ सिखाया है. सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट लेसन जो हमने सीखा वो ये सीखा कि मेंटल हेल्थ उतनी ही इम्पोर्टेंट है जितनी आपकी फिजिकल हेल्थ है. और उसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए कि इस बार की थीम मेंटल हेल्थ फॉर ऑल रखी गई है. फॉर दैट वी डिजाइंड अ सीरीज ऑफ वर्कशॉप to celebrate this World Mental Health Day on different topics with different experts so that we can cover what are the issues but how we can handle by staying at home in more safer way and in more productive way. So we have covered so many topics related to children, related to females, related to geriatric population, elderly population. आज हम बात करेंगे what about the single parenting, क्योंकि कोविड के टाइम पे जो सबसे बड़ा इशू आया जब कैट्स बंद थे, सारे प्ले सेंटर्स बंद थे, मेड्स स्टॉप कमिंग टू द हाउस, एंड व्हाट अबाउट दैट सिंगल पेरेंट हु इज हैंडलिंग देयर वर्क एंड देयर चाइल्ड ऑल अलोन. और उस केस में बच्चों की मेंटल हेल्थ पे कितने इश्यूज आए, कितना उनको सफर करना पड़ा, या फिर बीइंग अ सिंगल पेरेंट उनके क्या चैलेंजेस थे, how they can better cope with this. For to discuss about this we have Dr. Vishwajit De, who is assistant professor and program in coordinator of MPhil in clinical psychology from Institute of Behavioral Science, National Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. We welcome you, sir, and we are very privileged to have you as a guest of a speaker for our final session, final first session today. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Shweta, for your kind introduction of mine. And it's a privilege that, I'm invited to speak about single parenting and its issues during lockdown. So, yeah, I thank you again. And it's my privilege to be here. So I'm starting here. My discussion today is basically on single parenting. I'll talk about its advantage and disadvantage, and also I will talk about its causes and how to basically, bring how to bring an attempt at least to have a solution of these problems.
Yeah.
So right. So we know that how well we are fighting, how strongly we are fighting against all these extreme odds, during this lockdown. And we should actually, congratulate to each other that, most of us basically are successful in handling these, severe adverse conditions, which we never had faced earlier. So single parent, yeah. So single parenting basically is, we see it's increasing in India, just like, USA and Western countries, because of several reasons. Because there are many reasons, as we know, of the single parenting. It can be separation, it can be legal separation, can be non-legal separation, it can be a divorce, it can be unwanted pregnancy, or it can be a teenage pregnancy. Both are different actually, or death of a spouse. So there are several reasons basically why a child or children basically are being brought up by either father or mother, right? And the problems basically are more when the single parent is single-handedly raising his or her child, right, without the support of his or her parents, even means grandparents of the child. So the problems become more. It is rising in our country. So one important aspect that we all know, that a family is an important pillar in developing a society, right? So it's an institution, it's a union, and it's basically a pillar of the whole society. So parents are responsible to teach children about the norms and values of society, right? So here we see how we all, the way we are being brought up, basically we reflect our parenting in us, right? The way we interact with others, the way we talk about ourselves, we interact with others, basically we reflect our parenting. So that's how parenting is important, and it stays with us. Though if the parents are not there in life, their parenting still remain with us till the end of our lives, right? So it is so important. That's why the topic is very well chosen, and it's an important aspect, especially during this, lockdown.
Mhm.
So one important aspect that of parenting. So if we talk about, discuss about positive and negative, aspects of single parenting. So I should first talk about the positive aspects, right? So there are several positive aspects we see in single parenting. Say, for example, a strong connection, right, between the child and the parent. So always there is a stronger connection, many studies report, when the single parent is there. Right? There is a strong connection. Then when the parents are both, then they, many of times children face or a child faces several differences in opinion, several problems in differences of their opinions, parents' opinions, and different other perspective problems. But here, when the parent is single, then the direction is very basically categorical, or the parenting is very categorical. Here, the child is remaining in more non-confusing state. As we know, here in India and abroad also, we see when a child is, being instructed to do some work in a way, then the other parent basically is saying, no, you should not do this way. So this confusion, though may appear very easy, or though may appear, it's not so confusing to the parents, but it is so confusing that the child may develop neurosis in future, or even psychosis. So we should basically think about it when the child is getting contradictory messages from both the parents, right? So it is very difficult for the child to comply and to carry forward the message, and that confusion leads to a lot of neurotic manifestation, as well as lots of even in case of psychotic, it can happen, it can lead to psychotic condition also. So this is one of the advantages, where the child doesn't get any contradictory message, where the message is single, well directed, categorical, and most of the times it is well received by the child. That is one of the advantages. Second advantage we should also talk about the strong sense of community. When a child is raised single-handedly by a parent, right? So there is a communal community support also in India, right? So it can come through different ways. It can come through different ways. The child finds, he is well connected with the community, because there are many people who come forward, many of times, not always. Many of the people come forward and help the child, help the parent in raising up. Some indirect help, some kind of, secondary help I'm talking about, not the primary or the, financial. So that is also one of the advantages. Another is the sense of responsibility, right? The sense of responsibility, what a child learns during the childhood, right? When a child is raised by a single parent, either father or mother, so he knows what he should do, he knows what he shouldn't do, right? Because the message is very well directed, because the message is very, non-confusing, and the children learn basically the sense of responsibility very fast. That is also an important aspect in the single parenting. The similar concept with the things, sharing responsibility is a maturity, right? They mature more rapidly, and they mature very fast than the other children, because they know their sense of responsibilities. They know, means they are aware of their responsibilities, and also how to carry out. And also about the parental role modeling. Another advantage, that the parental, if the parent is mature, non-pathological, right, well sound, having sound mental health and personality, then that parent can work like a best role model for the child, right? So that is important. And in those cases, I must tell you all, in those cases, parent is really, they reflect their own sense of responsibilities, or his or her own sense of responsibility to the child, right? But in case that single parent, that is again another negative aspect. If the single parent is pathological in any way, then that will get reflected in the upbringing process, definitely. So these are the few advantages aspect of the single parenting, and there are many we can discuss later on if time is there, or if the discussion will take place. So the negative aspects, say for example, in India, in Indian subcontinent or Southeast Asian countries, we see many of times financial problems in day-to-day life when the single parent is there, right? So that is one aspect, but many of times we don't see financial trouble because the family members are less here. So another is the self-esteem issues in children. I will come to the lockdown aspect definitely after some time. So how these are all related into how these are all basically contributing during this lockdown. So emotional problems in childhood is another reflection of single parenting. Right. The self-esteem issue, who am I, what is my own esteem, right? Those things are being well challenged by means well reflected by the child, and he or she may develop depression, anxiety, and lots of academical difficulties, lots of occupational problems when there is any chance of emotional problem or poor modeling or poor parenting. And when the both parents are there, at least one parent can handle the immaturity of the other parent, or if both the parents are there, then one parent can at least nullify the negative aspects of the other parent. So here there is no chance. So there is a big chance, probability, that the child will receive all the negative aspects if the single parent is not sound in personality. Then those problems may lead to loneliness and deliver self-harm, as we know, clinical psychologists, and we see regular cases of this in our day-to-day OPD. We see or when both the parents are working, right? There the financial trouble is not there, but the sense of attachment what the child should have is not there. So when they come back, both the parents, many of times we see in OPDs, so they even can't give proper time to the child. Either the child is sitting with the tutor who comes in the evening, right? The quality time is also not there when the single parent is there many of times, because that parent has to carry out all the other activities, household activities also, right? Or helping the governor of the home or the servant. So there is a problem with the quality of time, and which also may lead to the loneliness and other emotional problems in the children. The other aspect is adjustment difficulties. Now see, when the parenting quality is not good, when there is no monitoring by the other elder person of that parenting, then as I have said or talked about that can definitely lead to the emotional problems in the children, then it also can lead to other adjustment difficulties. So which is the building block of the all pathological behavior in adulthood. So adjustment difficulty during childhood definitely can give rise to lots of neurotic problems, and subsequently lots of other personality related disorders or anxious manifestation. So these things are very important and to be discussed thoroughly and to be understood thoroughly by us, should be. Now see, here basically, because it's very a regular platform, not a very academic platform, we are having this discussion today. I should be very lucid, I should be very very simple in my language in describing few of the important aspects of parenting. So I am not going to talk about specific theories, right? But I should at least relate those theories, and I can deliver how you should basically, being parents. I know many of you who are listening basically, who are attending this webinar. So many of you like to know how to improve the quality of parenting, right? So here, being a single parent, you may also need to know how to improve the parenting quality. So in those conditions, we have several theories, right? We have social learning theories, we have theories of operant conditioning, we have Erikson's psychosocial theory, we have Bowlby's attachment, Ainsworth's attachment theory, and several theories. But here I am not discussing all those theories, but I can at least relate those theories how to improve parenting.
And
Right.
that would be much better because we have
Yeah.
more people from the community without
Yes.
psychology
Yes.
background. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly,
Hmm.
Dr. Shweta.
Hmm.
So here, say for example, the Albert Bandura social learning theory. Here, what we all should know about his theory, that a child who is being brought up by a parent, by a single or both the parents, that those parents or that single parent, right, is the whole world at the beginning, right, is the whole world for the child at the beginning. So whatever the, the kind of relationship the parent is basically maintaining with the child, it's all about he will be reflecting during his adulthood. Though definitely when he will grow up, when he will be growing up, there will be lots of other input from the peer group, from teachers, but definitely, because as we know, the temperament, which is observable since birth, and the personality basically gets matured by the end of 14, 15, or 16 years of age, or 17 years of age. So here what happens, when the father is sensitive or mother is sensitive to the need of the child, to the valid need of the child, I should clarify. So then those, that sensitivity will lead to lots of emotional bonding, will lead to lots of emotional bonding that will further help the child to regulate his or her emotion properly. So here what happens, the child is basically modeling a near perfect parent, right? Who is sensitive to the valid needs of the child, and also the being parent, he or she is reflecting that her own attachment to the child, right? So here, in nutshell, the child is modeling or child is copying basically his or her mother or father. So the way he is delivering the language, as a father, for example, the way his gesture, posture, right, the kind of touch he or she is providing to the child, or the overall trustworthy relationship what he is basically carrying for the child, are all important, important in social learning theory, right? So that is important aspect, and these are quite inevitable. So one cannot say, a father cannot say, yeah, if I, few times if I use some bad language, slang language, then it won't affect my child. He will forget or she will forget. They do not forget actually. Those children or a particular child may not use that slang language front of you, but it will be there, hidden in the mind of the child. So being a responsible parent, we should basically, focus upon those issues, how to behave front of a child, or how to be a good, good means quote unquote good. It is a relative term. So front of a child, right? So these are all very important as per the social learning. There is another aspect we call operant conditioning. It means when we should basically reward our child, right? Being a parent, we should know, right? Especially in the lockdown, when the lockdown basically witnessing lots of emotional problems in the children, irrespective of parenting, irrespective of both the parents or single parent. So we see lots of emotional trouble. They can't go out. Imagine a child, right? Many of us basically have children in our homes, so imagine they are not able to go out. They're not allowed to go out and play, on playground with the children. Hmm. And imagine their again mental health. We can understand. We being mature people, we understand what's the negative consequence or the adverse consequence if we go out. But they do not have the maturity to understand. If I go out and if I play with all the children outside, then I may get contaminated. So that suppressed negative affect emotion basically may lead to, and we are seeing it is really leading to lots of emotional problems. Now, when there is a reason of this emotional trouble, right? We should handle it through the root. We should not, as per operant conditioning, we should not punish them when they are showing emotional problem. Rather, being parents, we should understand why is he or she basically showing the temper tantrums or the problems. Right? 7 months, 8 months, 9 months going, matlab, since February we are facing the lockdown, since March. So imagine the condition of the children. So here we should also focus upon when we should basically reward a child, when we should not reward a child. There are two things. We can reward, we can not give the reward, we can give punishment, or we can withdraw reward. There are four actually, conditions can happen. While the situation of that kind, arises, then there may be four separate conditions. You can reward the child, you can withdraw the reward, you can stay neutral, or you can punish the child. So there are four ways, right? And you should basically use your logical mind, right? How when and how to basically utilize these four conditions. Many of times what happens in single parenting, we overlook, we underestimate many negative aspects of the children's behavior. Do you understand? So what happens? So you have come back to your home after the working schedule. So what happens? The child may show lots of temper tantrum. The child may show lots of behavioral problems because he or she is seeing you after several hours, after 8 or 10 hours. So there you should not be punitive, right? There you should come to the child. You should be, you should give a hug. You should love your child, right? Have some time with the child at the initial time after reaching home. Then you get yourself busy with the other scheduled work, right? It shouldn't be like, after coming down, you are sending the child for the tuition, you are getting the tutor at your home, right? So there, while you are coming back, at that point of time, you just schedule your activity in such a way, at least you spend half an hour time or 1 hour time with the child. Then you engage the child in some activities, or you engage yourself to the other activities, scheduled activities. So here you are basically not entertaining any negative effect, but you are basically nullifying or minimizing that, temper tantrum, what he is showing. But after some time, you have to now regulate the activities very strictly. So it's all about the operant conditioning. And whenever the child is showing positive behavior, you should reward him, right? Consistently, you should reward him. Unlike, one time you are rewarding, another time you are forgetting, that will not get any positive behavioral change. So to bring positive behavioral change, right, you have to be consistent in your positive parenting. So that needs to be properly monitored by yourself. And there are many other theories, like psychosocial theories are there by Eric Erikson. His theory is quite, widely accepted and well researched. So he said long ago, right? He said long ago, how basically we should treat a child, or how we should help, or being a parent or being parents, how should we facilitate a child's proper mental development, emotional development, social development, right? So he had given several stages, and every stage has a conflict. Now see, every stage has a demand. So if that demand is not fulfilled, properly fulfilled, that the child will face difficulty in moving forward for the next stage. Do you understand? So here what happens? So here that, say for example, the stage of trust versus mistrust. So if you are not being a parent, single parent, if you are not able to develop a trustworthy relationship, then the child will face lots of difficulty to develop autonomy, sense of autonomy, which is the second stage. So I hope you are all following it. So the first task of a parent is to develop a trustworthy relationship with the child. So when that relationship is developed, then you are basically helping or facilitating the child to develop a sense of autonomy. Autonomy means what? Yeah, I can do something. Being a small child, they develop a sense of autonomy that, yeah, at least I can do something to maintain the trust or to develop further trust. I can do something for myself, for my parent, for my grandparents, or for the community overall. Now see, if the relationship is not trustworthy, if the child is repeatedly punished by the parents, right, or more authoritative kind of parenting, so here that trustworthy relationship is not there, so a mistrust will be there between the child and the parent, right? And that will lead to never lead to autonomy, but it will lead to shame. Shame means, yeah, if I do, then they definitely I'll be a failure. If I attempt that, then definitely I'll be a failure, and there will be a shame subsequently. So there we are basically talking about each stage basically has its own, fulfilling point and otherwise a failing point. So if the child has not developed autonomy, then he will suffer from the next stage. His chronological age will grow up, right? Then he will next stage he will suffer from doubt, lots of doubt, which is the seed or the root for the future anxiety. So he will have the doubt between initiative versus guilt. Means should I start or should not I start? I should not start. Right? Should I approach it or I should not approach it? That kind of doubt basically will lead him, right? Will lead him to a state of avoidant behavior, right? Where he will be showing avoidant nature, right? So that avoidant nature is again the part of the anxiety. So that's how each and every stage. Now the next stage is again the industriousness versus inferiority. So when the child is having lots of doubt, right? Somehow parenting, I must tell you, somehow parenting is responsible here, right? To some extent. I will discuss it if I get time or if the questions are being raised. So here, so if the child is having doubt in initiating, then definitely, and it is not being resolved properly, then the child may suffer from lots of inferiority complex. So that inferiority complex is again the part of the negative mood, and that will further lead to the final stage where there is a problem with the identity. Who am I? Right. So now each and every step, basically, each and every stage is connected directly with its own, own points. So that's how in adulthood they will suffer from intimacy versus isolation. You may find lots of, couple, right? They report or they complain to their marital therapist that we do not have any intimate relationship, right? We do not have any intimate relationship. He is loving me. The lady is complaining. Maybe he is loving me, but he is not able to reflect that, or he is not able to show that, demonstrate that somehow, right? So that problem basically comes up due to the underlying unresolved anxiety, which was basically there since the beginning. Hmm. So the child was, say, for example, this stage can come through overprotective parenting also. For example, when the parenting is overprotected, right, you will get hurt. In India, it happens a lot, you see. So you should not do it. You should not approach it, right? You will get hurt. So take it very carefully. Don't do it. So this no wala thing is so much in our culture. So that itself basically, leads to poor autonomy, lots of doubt, inferiority, and further identity-related problems. And in adulthood, it will definitely revolve into intimacy problems. Right. So these are several. These are all well-researched areas, and all are very well related to the parenting. And we should take care of this, especially during this crisis period what the humankind is suffering from, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so another aspect is the attachment aspect, direct attachment aspect between the child and the single parent. So here we know about secure attachment, we know anxious ambivalent attachment, we also know about the anxious avoidant attachment, and finally disorganized attachment. So when a single parent is very having well sound personality, well mature personality, can direct the child, can instruct the child very positively, right? So somehow they are having both the parent and the child is having secure attachment. Whereas if I go back to the earlier theory, what I was discussing about by Erikson, where there is a problem with the inferiority, or there is a problem with the doubt and lots of identity issues later on. So those issues basically come through an anxious avoidant parenting attachment. Sorry, an anxious avoidant attachment. So my attachment with my mother or my attachment with my father, for example, was not very secure during my childhood. So I when I used to talk to my father or when I used to talk to my mother, then I used to also have anxiety, right? So what should my मेरे पापा क्या बताएंगे मुझे, right? मेरी मम्मी क्या बताएगी मुझे, मतलब वो लोग क्या डांटेंगे मुझे, वो लोग क्या चीज मुझसे कुछ मांग लेंगे, फिर से छीन लेंगे, या मुझे नहीं देंगे, मुझे नहीं जाने देंगे. So these all questions come from a non-secure attachment or anxious avoidant attachment. Then तो मुझे जाना नहीं चाहिए, फिर मुझे खेलना नहीं चाहिए, तो पापा मुझे कम प्यार करेंगे, तो मम्मी मुझे प्यार कम करेगी, फिर हाँ कम प्यार करेगी. तो ये वाला जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, तो that leads to avoidant kind of attachment. So I'm avoiding somehow my attached parents, and also I'm avoiding other work activities. So disorganized and attachment is also there, which is related to lots of other issues. Disorganized parenting means where the parents are themselves are very ambivalent, ambiguous. What should their children learn? How should they pass on message? How should they allow their children to learn something new, to allow something to do something new? So these, when the messages are still confusing for the parents, that will definitely lead to a kind of disorganized attachment. So and other issues. So these are the few aspects we should, from the clinical point of view, we should look at while we are raising our children. See, if we have any doubts now, I think Dr. Shweta, if you allow me, then if you allow me, then, or if you allow other audience to interact a bit, then fine. Otherwise, I think it will be better.
Of course. Although you covered all points very carefully, very beautifully, and relevant to psychological theories, because definitely parenting is something everyone is always confused. No one is a perfect parent, and every parent is a perfect in their own way. But how we can relate psychologically and how can we relate theoretically, that you explained very beautifully. Thank you so much, Vishwajit, for sparing your time and giving so important and fruitful inputs. So we are opening house for discussion. Any questions, any queries, you can ask directly to Dr. Vishwajit De.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
So, sir, my question is that what advice or what suggestion would you give to a child who realizes when the person grows up that he or she has been a part of such a style like anxious attachment or avoidant attachment? So it can create anxiety in the person when the person realizes. So what suggestion would you like to give?
Suggestion to the child or to the parents you are talking about?
Sir, to the child.
Okay. So now see, when there is an anxious avoidant attachment style is persisting, right, you may not, get to know it very directly, right? Anxious avoidant attachment is something, a theoretical construct, which can be observed or which can be understood not only through interview or only assessment, but through the direct observation, right? Or kind of, you can say, in vivo observation, or when you are basically, allowing both the child and parent, to communicate freely in front of you, or in absence of you, it is better. Or get some history or record from both the parties separately. But what I'm basically now talking about, their behavior. A child who has anxious avoidant attachment, his behavioral pattern, his emotional regulation will be different than a child with the secure attachment. So that behavior, that emotional problem, you need to tap as a clinical psychologist first. Then you should correlate with the attachment style, right? No one will be referred to you, or no one will come to you with the anxious avoidant attachment style. They will come with you emotional problems. They will come to you with lots of behavioral problems, right? There we basically, being clinician, we try to basically relate now with the attachment, with the parenting style, with the upbringing process, right? So there lots of treatment strategies are available. Here they may not, you can't help them only through counseling, right, or only through interview. There are several treatment strategies available. Say, for example, parental management training, right? Or even simple psychoeducation also may help when you find categorically there is a problem with the attachment. So when there is an attachment problem, anxious avoidant, the child, you may find the child is avoiding the situation, right? or the child is avoiding the peer group, or the child is basically showing anxiety in the social situation, there he or she needs, that child needs lots of supportive approach, supportive psychotherapeutic approach, or some kind of behavioral approach. So based on reinforcement strategies, based on different other strategies available. So
Thank you
here,
so much, sir.
yeah, here you need to also bring parents into the loop. Your treatment strategy may not be successful.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir. Thank you.
yeah, you are welcome. Anyone else?
Yeah, there is one more question on Facebook Live. Divya, can you ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
So Reet Sharma is asking, what is the best way to overcome behavioral problems in a child when one parent has left the child? The child has accustomed to a lot of anger and emotional outbursts.
Yes, yes. It's a very good question. Actually, it's a very good question. Now, when a parent, when a parent has left the child, right, it really brings lots of emotional issues, right? Lots of emotional and psychological problems that will get reflected in his or her behavior. There, some compensatory method by the available parent has to take, right? Some compensatory mechanisms, right? So either when the child is left with a single parent, that's the left parent, basically the parent who is available, has to take lots of emotionally, has to bring all lots of emotionally comforting situations for the child, right? It can be simply sitting and explaining the reason why the child, the possible reason the child needs to have an answer, right? First of all, he will seek for an answer, why my father or mother has left me, right? So why, when he or she is asking this question to the available parent, he should get a near logical answer. He should basically understand the situation, because they are in a situation when a parent has left, they are in a state of confusion, right? That confusion leads to frustration and lots of other emotional trouble. So from the beginning itself, the available parent should give a near logical answer and to discuss about the positive and negative aspects, right? So, and the available parent has to be emotionally available to the child, has to bring lots of comforting situation, as I have said, in the environment, has to spend good amount of time, and has to build, or has to transfer the child in a more comfortable situation. Say, for example, to some sport clubs, right, where he will get lots of support. Do you understand? Because the child has to live with one father. So that he won't get further breakdown, the child needs immediate environment change, immediate, comforting situation, good logical sense, right, of the left parent, and also a proper support from the new organizations. So this way we can manage at the beginning.
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. Any other question?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So here, few of the strategies or rules we can employ to basically counter the problems which a single parent is usually they face. First of all, taking care of the parent himself or herself. That is the most. I'm just telling in later, later way. Layman way. So here, basically, taking care of oneself, is most important. Otherwise, if a father or a mother is emotionally overwhelmed, right, or emotionally exhausted, right, so definitely that will get reflected through his or her parenting. So being a clinical psychologist, I always suggest to the parents that you need to calm yourself first, or you need to give comfort to yourself. Then only your child will get satisfaction from you, right? If I am not satisfied, if I am not in a comfortable situation, or somehow I can't manage my own emotion, then definitely it will have a reflection on child. So second, definitely setting up a routine, right? It is purely based on behavioral theories. So, and it is well validated and widely researched and well implicated, right? Setting up a routine, proper routine, and engaging the child into that routine with proper reinforcement is such a step where half of the problems can go, right? Some behavioral problems, some emotional problems of the child can go if the child is into a proper routine. So that is itself, I always emphasize a child or a parent himself or herself should maintain a proper routine when he should get up, when he should follow the things, and when, because especially during this time of lockdown, when there is no schooling or there are online classes of few hours, say 2 to 3 hours, hardly schools basically are offering online classes of 7 or 8 hours, like the physical classes, right? They basically concise. It should not be also, definitely it should not be. So when these 2 hours are over or 1 hour is over of the online class or 3 hours, then the overall whole day, what the child should do, right? So that way a routine, proper routine should be important. Right. Setting ground rules. Ground rules are very important to deal with this problem. Say for example, the both a child and his or her single parent should pick up common interest areas. So it is all about providing the quality time, and how to, say for example, 1 hour, if this half an hour or 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 1 hour are all, this time is, though it is appearing too short, but if it can be utilized well with proper common interest or some other fascinating things, then that is itself quite sufficient, right? So picking up common, it can be drawing or anything, right? Painting, it can be some writing poems, or can be simply even TV watching also, it can be. So picking up common interest areas, very important. Positive attention, right? Positive attention, if you give positive attention, means when the attention, giving attention is required, right? When giving attention is required for the child. Many of times the child doesn't need attention. You should not pay any attention. Say while we were attending, make sure that the child is into a positive behavior, right? We should withdraw our attention. We should ignore the child when he is not behaving properly. Many of times, though they need proper instruction at that point of time also, how should he behave? But say for example, excessive laughing or kind of pampering kind of things, if when he deserving, demanding, sorry, there you should not pay attention, right? That is also reinforcement, and praising is also important. Setting up boundaries, right? So that setting up boundaries, what he should do, what he should not do, that is also an important aspect. So, and loss of privileges according to behavioral principle. So many of times when the child is showing lots of behavioral problems, right, some kind of withdrawing some privileges is also important. Ignoring the child, while he is not properly behaving, as I've said. So, and any time of misbehavior, so that is important aspect. And setting up role models is very important, right? Role model, if the father is not a proper role model, then at least set up, you discuss about I would discuss about a hero, or discuss about a character of a novel, right? Or share the characteristics and personality of that character in the novel to the child, itself works a lot, right? Itself helps the child to model a proper person in the world, right? If the parent is not able to able to become a proper hero for the child. So give a straight and honest response is also an important aspect, right? So whenever the child is asking something, demanding something, or clearing something, so a straight and honest response from parents is very important, right? There you can't manipulate anything, right? So the child needs to get a proper, non-ambiguous, and honest answer from you, right? So it will clear the doubts of the parent, child, and he or she can reach to a proper conclusion of the situation. And single parent has to be, most of the times, it is expected that in adverse situation, it's an over demand, I know, but they have to be positive. That is an extra demand, but they have to be remaining positive just to remove lots of other probable subsequent adverse situations, right? So these are few of the things I should
Yeah.
have talked.
So I would like to add one point here because I think
Please.
what I feel even on personal
Absolutely.
front also, despite of having several interpersonal issues with your partner, if you are staying separate or if you are divorced or maybe there is something going on, this should not be shared with the child. That should not affect the relationship between child and other parent with whom the child is not staying. That is again very important point when you are
Absolutely.
a single parent and handling a child at your own, but you should be more careful about this thing that his relationship or her relationship with the other parent should be adequate, should not be on the basis of on the basis of your biased or on your judgments about your partner, because that is a different relationship between two partners, but a relationship between a kid and between a parent is totally different. And that is one thing which usually parents forget when they are doing single parenting.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Dr. Vishwajit, for giving your valuable inputs. And definitely, it's a very important topic. There are like very few literature about it as we were searching on it, and I haven't seen any lecture, any series on this specific topic. So we are highly grateful to you for bringing up this important topic, especially in today's era during COVID-19 and in our society now, because now definitely single parenting is something which is becoming more common. There are more relationship issues are on peak, and definitely everyone is handling this issue. Some are maybe some are opening about it, but still people are handling it their own, but they are not opening about it. So this topic was so much important, and I'm glad to have you as a speaker. Thank you so much once again. So I would like to carry on this session as we are celebrating our second anniversary today. So Vishwajit, actually we founded Mansa on World Mental Health Day 2018. And today we completed 2 years of Mansa.
Oh, 2008. Congratulations. It's very good.
2018 we initiated. And finally it's a foundation now.
Okay. And I heard that under your leadership, it is running so well and it is getting so popular. It is really, you need, praise and appreciation from all of us.
Thank you so much. I just need your guidance, your support from all colleagues, all friends, and that I'm always getting. So I'm very thankful to have you. And I would like to launch, we are actually launching a pledge campaign, pledge for your mental health. So we would like to request each and every participant, even you also, to take this pledge on this World Mental Health Day. As a therapist also, sometimes we also ignore our mental health. हमें भी issues होते हैं, हमें भी anxiety है, हमें भी interpersonal issues हैं, but कहीं ना कहीं वो एक taboo होता है, because we are therapists. तो हम किससे बात करेंगे, हम कैसे बात कर सकते हैं? Even if we talk, so people usually judge. तुम्हें कैसे प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, तुम तो खुद डॉक्टर हो. So to break all this stigma and to break all stigma in general community also, we are launching today our mental health pledge campaign, because बहुत सालों के बाद में कहीं ना कहीं हमें रियलाइज होता है कि कुछ बातें करना जरूरी है, और अगर टाइम से बात की जाए, टाइम से हेल्प ली जाए, तो शायद वो इश्यूज हम बेटर वे में हैंडल कर पाते. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन, प्लीज गो इनटू द चैट बॉक्स. So Vishwajit, for you can repeat with me. I'm recalling words. So we already put our pledge in chat box. Every participant can check over there. Are you guys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
So first, happy anniversary, everyone. We completed 2 years.
Right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to us.
So on this World Mental Health Day, let's take a pledge to prioritize your mental health. So you guys can repeat with me, or you guys can come with me. अगर आप लोग chat box में देख सकते हो तो. So Vishwajit, you can repeat because I know you are not able to see the chat box. I Shweta Sharma.
Hi, Ayushi Jhalani.
I Radhika.
Hi, Shreya Nair.
Hi, Amin Khanna.
I Vishwajit.
Take a pledge to take care of my mental health.
Take a pledge to
take care of my mental health.
Just like I take care of my physical health.
Just like I take care of my physical health.
to make my coming years in life
To make
To make my coming years in life
better, beautiful, and mentally healthy.
better, beautiful, and mentally healthy.
So we will celebrate this World Mental Health Day with this pledge, and I hope we all will continue with this pledge throughout the year and throughout our upcoming years in our life. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you so much again, Dr. Vishwajit, for giving your valuable time.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta. It's my privilege to be again here with you all, and I really appreciate your effort that it is being run so well with you, with your so good helping hands. Those all active, passionate people are there with you, and I really congratulate you all and the whole Mansa team. And I really, expect and wish for its, fulfillment and further achievement in
Yeah.
your future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vishwajit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.